yes.
Me.
Lion face, lemon face. Lion face, lemon face.
The lips, the tongue, the tip of the, what is it? The lips.
I can't remember.
God damn it! Did you guys do that theater warm up?
No.
That's
The tip of the tongue, the roof of the mouth, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, the roof of the. It's like a.
Oh yeah,
Did you guys
I've heard of that before.
theater in high school. Anybody?
No, I know of
I
it.
did. I did theater all 4 years in high school.
There you go.
Did you really?
All 4 years.
Oh
yeah.
man, we
You-
would.
I'm such a little perv. You want to know why I did it?
I didn't say it because I was waiting for you to say it first.
That's all right.
No. I wish I would have been one. I was a bigger one of those by not being true to myself like Jericho was.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Bushwick Bears podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
On the scene.
My name
It was
is
acting.
my name is Jericho Davidson. We've got Boris Hyken. Say something, Boris.
What up? Yo, look at that haircut. Look at Jericho's beautiful haircut.
Dude, somebody's got to get a job. These are hard times out there. You know what I
Clean.
mean?
Hell yeah.
And then we got Derek Humphrey over here.
Oh hey.
For everyone listening that can't see how beautiful we look, go to YouTube. You can see my haircut. That's where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a legit thespian in high school.
Your haircut's already on YouTube?
No, it
Oh,
will be
here.
when you
Yeah.
see this.
Jesus
You gotta
Christ.
You gotta
This
think of the
episode
future,
will
you know?
be called "The Boys Got Too High."
I was in drama all 4 years of high school. The last 2 years of high school, I was even the drama teacher's aide. So it was like
Wow.
double drama
Wow.
duty. Yeah.
You
You
said
were
that
a-
like you went to prison. I was even the theater teacher's aide, motherfucker.
2 stints.
No, I was such a little pervy kid. The reason I stayed in drama the whole time, because I just, freshman year, public high school, you got to pick something, right? And I tried to be in jazz band for the drums, and I got kicked out right away.
Dude, such a parallel. I wanted to do jazz band for guitar, and I think I just wasn't good enough, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or I chose theater. I can't remember one of the two. I probably
That is
accept
funny.
that I wasn't good enough.
I wanted to play saxophone, but we couldn't afford it.
Fair enough,
But they
Damn.
could afford football pads.
right?
So I wanted to be a theater kid.
You're built for football.
I know.
more
They're
than-
like, come
more
on,
than
you're,
theater.
you even look,
They
look dumb.
They just told you they couldn't afford it. They're like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You're gonna go play football?"
Yeah, they could afford it fine, but we need you on that offensive line.
Come on, you're not going nowhere, kid.
All right,
They were right.
Lisa Simpson, get on that
yeah.
field.
Yeah.
But so my first, I was in drama, and I remember the first production we did, so the first quarter of the year, whatever it was, I don't even think I was in it. I think I just built the sets or something, or I just helped. But I remember everyone changing in the same room.
Oh,
And it was
wow.
it was like freshman
That's how
to
theater.
senior.
That's how theater. I wonder if that's still how it is, but that is how theater works.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it was I like
Hell yeah, the 90s.
senior girls when you're a freshman in
Oh,
their
man,
bras
they're
and
women.
underwear, they're women, and
yeah,
I was
they're
like,
women.
so I just stayed in drama the entire time just so I could see girls in their underwear. And my fantasy was literally just to all of them in a row, just lined up,
Yeah,
and me
yeah,
just
yeah.
fucking all of them in a row.
I think there was also a thing where
Oh man, it was so
after a few years of theater, everyone kind of had this attitude of like, we change in front of each other. We're cool with this. But everyone's still in high school.
Yeah.
So they're like taking that to the next level and making it performative how cool about it they are,
right.
if that makes sense. And
Oh,
now
that's
it's
great.
like, now they're actually trying with it, but to show how they're cool with it.
Like I went from going to, they overlap for a while, but I would go to youth groups, like church youth groups in the neighborhood to hit on girls, and then like drama club. I would
You hit up all the hot
all the
spots.
hot spots.
I would have totally gotten into those if I thought there was a remote chance at getting laid in any of them. But I was like lied to by media and thought you had to be like football player, cool dude.
Yeah,
You
two
know,
of my
yeah, like-
girlfriends in high school were theater people I
Ooh,
met in theater.
nice.
Yeah.
The football thing, they lied to you because it's like, oh yeah, the guys, the football guys that get all the girls are like the quarterback,
Right.
And the
it's
running
guy,
back-
It's the guy I'm protecting.
Nobody on the offensive line is
Yeah,
getting girls
yeah,
from
yeah,
football.
yeah.
As a former offensive lineman, I know that that's
It
the
would be
truth.
1 out of 5. If you got 2 guards, 2 tackles, 1 center, One of them's like,
Oh, you
a
just
tall
lost
kid
me.
And he's handsome. Oh, I know.
Just
sorry.
I'm gone already.
Sorry. Well, imagine it's ballet, Boris. And the senior float guy.
See, you can't do it with ballet. No, neither can I. I can't do it with either of them.
The center on my first football team, his name was Nacho, and he was also just a big fat kid like me, right? And so we were right next to each other the whole season, and his name was Nacho, and I thought he was the coolest kid ever because his haircut, he had the Batman symbol shaved into his head.
Oh, hell yeah.
And his name was Nacho.
Yeah. I mean, that's a kid destined for glory. There's no way those were his peak years.
You went to high school with a Danny McBride character.
No, this
Yeah.
this is my first hope. This is way before high school.
Oh, shit.
I knew around that age that the older women. I used to have to go to summer school, and there wouldn't be enough kids to form like different grades in a specific subject. So I would be stuck in like algebra 1 with like some dumb bitch senior who like is so like who's just like been super hot forever and hasn't had to try hard and whatnot, and you could tell that there was like always a bunch of them in fucking summer school.
Yeah.
And you could tell all of them were like women now because they were all sleeping with older dudes, like adult men.
Dudes in college.
Yeah,
dudes
you're
in the
just,
military.
yeah. Like my old football coach. Like,
my biology teacher.
yeah, it was fucking crazy, man. So like when you're a 14-year-old kid and like you see like an adult woman, basically if they're 18 and seniors and whatnot, and you're just like, wow, this is weird. You know what I mean?
I thought it was awesome.
I mean, no, it was cool for sure. I just wish I'd gotten a theater.
Did you guys go to public high schools?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. The public high school was wild. I went to like one of those big, giant, really shitty, underfunded ones.
Mine was
with
pretty good,
thousands
but
of
it was
kids, you know?
mine did also have thousands of kids though. Mine was really, I think, 2,500 or something like that.
Yeah. This shit was so wild. I like remember I made friends with the older kids like kind of right away through like smoking weed, and I just didn't really have any friends. And then it was always like I just remember going to hang out at like older kids' houses, and it was always such a wild adventure. At least I thought it was like ditching school and hanging out with like senior kids and like
Yeah.
You know what's funny is the worst group of friends I hung out with kept me from smoking weed. Like that was actually middle school probably, but like it was an older group of kids and they were all kind of retarded and like they constantly there was a specific one that was like, come on, I just fucking know you, like literally cartoonish peer pressure to smoke weed. And I was like, yo, I don't think I want to be like this. And I didn't smoke weed. And then I met like a smart bunch of kids in like an honors math class and found out they all smoke weed. And I'm like, oh shit, everybody smokes weed.
Oh, I definitely went with the dumb kids who smoked weed. I learned a bunch of dumb, useless shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, once like, cause it didn't work out for me in sports because like I wasn't, I couldn't get up for some of them. Like it was really just kind of, I don't really care about playing the other team that much. I wish I played more individual sports that would help me now as an adult.
you didn't have that competitive drive to be the greatest.
I mean, like just out of school spirit. I hated where I was from.
You
What do
just
I
didn't
care
have
about?
like
I
a
could-
like a group, like a team mentality,
I guess so. I was just doing what I thought you were supposed to.
which is
do.
funny for a guy who went to the military.
I know, right? Yeah.
the ultimate team sport, the
Well,
Well,
military.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's part of the reason why I probably ultimately ended up joining the military is because I didn't have like an identity of my own because I bounced around so much like as a kid, and I wish I had been smart enough and to go like to have the wherewithal to be like, oh yeah, I should be in drama because I like to write more than I like to run. What
Yeah.
am I doing? But I also just didn't want to be a soft ass bitch.
I don't want to shoot people. I want to dance.
Well, I mean, it would have helped me so much more out in life. And I always think like, oh man, I wish you could go back in time and like tell young me this sort of information. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what a dad is for.
Yeah, I think about so many things like that. I was like, well, oh wait, man, I wish I would have learned that. I was like, oh yeah, that's what dads are supposed to teach you.
I'm imagining raising a child, and that child is me.
Were you guys fucking in high school?
No,
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you lose your virginity, Derek?
late.
Like after high school?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I had gotten third base
Yeah,
I guess what we were. Yeah.
you'd box some titties. You
I
felt
had
a vagina.
one
Fingering
girlfriend
and all that sort
I
of
had
stuff.
one girlfriend. For
my
all high
junior
school,
year,
too. Yeah, me too.
and then that's the
same
only person I had
I
sex
had
with.
no
thing.
girlfriends.
that's kinda-
I had-
Until
exactly the same.
college.
Yeah.
I had none. I had like chicks who were just like around the way skanks or whatever, like
God bless
in our
them.
neighborhood. I don't know what else. I mean,
I
we're
don't
all
know.
just a bunch of poor kids. It's like we're all poor kids forced into this poor situation where we're just going to be sexually explorative with
Honestly,
each
I
other.
think there needs to be more women like that in the world.
Well,
Sex is free, you know. It's not. You can't
should
contain.
be
You
anyway.
can't contain sex to an economic class.
well, that's the thing though too. It also, I mean, once you get older, you realize rich people also did the same dumb bullshit,
Oh yeah.
but in their
Right.
own way. And you're like, oh, so I'm not necessarily trash for being a person. I'm just trash because the economic model.
I was just trash for being a person and the economic.
Yeah, a
model.
little responsibility, Derek.
I accept none.
I was trying to fuck in high school like crazy, and I was just unsuccessful. I didn't know how to play the game. And then like junior year, I landed a girlfriend, and we went out for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So like junior, senior year, and into college years, you know.
No, not me.
I said college years. so
You know.
I didn't go to college. I just meant the age of 18 to 22.
I ended up dating in high school girls that like I worked with at like Bob Evans
Yeah.
or whatever, not
Wait.
through like school.
Yeah.
Because that was like,
Well, that was the best thing. Is like we talked about this on another episode, but when we were like, we started getting a job, that exposed you to like girls that weren't in
Totally.
your school.
oh,
and-
yeah,
It was
TCBY. You
Yeah,
know, we talked about
TCBY,
it
the
before.
movie
Yeah, my
theater. The
first
girls
job
show
was
me her
at TCBY.
titties.
Right.
It
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah. I was lucky enough to have women who were super cool to pull me to the side and be like. The thing is too is like I started getting hit on super young though by like adult women. Because when I was 12, I was like an adult size already. Now it wasn't happening necessarily at 12, but when I was like 12, 13, people thought I was.
You were
like
larger than me, probably.
People thought I was a junior. It was just a more leaner
Than me
version.
now, to be clear, not me that age.
Yeah.
me right now.
I'm 6'4", 300 right now. This is me at like at 12. It was probably like 5'10", 180, 185 somewhere around.
So
there.
me now is probably you at what, like 11?
Yeah, I was gonna say
10?
fourth grade.
Yeah.
Probably
grade.
fourth
You came
grade.
out the pussy bigger than me.
It's true. My mom was pregnant for 10 months, but
Just doing yoga the whole time, preparing.
yeah.
Smoking fucking Virginia Slims, drinking Miller Lite.
Oh my god. Yeah. If I could still be there.
Oh man, good times. Yeah, the '80s were wild
I
wild
know,
times.
Fucking crazy.
Uh,
So yeah, so like I don't know. I was just always like, and then when I was like a freshman in high school, I could go to colleges and people would think I was a freshman in college, and so I started going to college parties younger and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was
The-
like pretty cool.
The closest I could relate to that is I have a distinct memory of, despite being short, going to Fuddruckers.
fuck,
and-
yeah, Fuddruckers.
They got the ostrich burger, but you get, at a certain age, with like a child meal or something like that, you get a cookie. And I think that's what it was. And I remember going up there and asking for mine. And what I did have at 14 or 15 was like a solid little mustache.
I believe it. You're a hairy
yeah,
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like where I wasn't quite shaving it yet because I don't know, thought it would like grow in thicker or whatever. I waited and I just had this solid little mustache. And I remember being like, you got to be 14 to get the cookie or whatever. And I'm like, I am. She's like, no, you got a little mustache. And then she called people from the back. She's like, check it out. This 14-year-old's got a little mustache.
The funny thing is, she was probably like 17, right? They were probably like 18, maybe they were like teenagers. Just
Yeah.
fucking with, but
See, I
they
bet-
seem like adults.
I bet teenage Boris could grow a better mustache than I can right now.
My, like, 12 inches of my
That's our
height.
trade-off.
Yeah, 12 inches of my height got channeled into a mustache.
We're epic, dude. High school was so fucking crazy. Like, did you guys start partying in high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I started partying pretty hard in high school.
I used to go buy cigarettes and I'd take my sister and pretend she was my daughter.
That was your trick. Dude, things were so much leaner back then. I remember, like, literally a babysitter, for lack of a better term, the lady that ran the apartment complex that my mom left me with when I wasn't at school and she was working. And she handed me a note with her ID that says, give me 2 packs of Marlboro Reds And I was like 10 to 12, and I walked down to the Circle K, and the guy gave me Marlboro Reds with the little note and her ID.
Yeah. He just trusts that you're bringing it to her. He doesn't give a shit.
I started smoking and quit that within a year.
My one buddy just forged his mom's handwriting and would just go up and buy fucking cigarettes.
So it was crazy.
Yeah.
Partying, yeah. Oh God, just boozing. That's when I started boozing real hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that hit me around the same time.
Just remember, high school parties were so wild.
I just know, like, I hate to sound like a boring old man, but like, I drove so drunk, so young.
You sound like
yeah, we all
anybody
did.
who grew up somewhere without like a rigid public transportation
Yeah,
system.
don't worry.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, this is Ohio.
Yeah,
You know
we
what I
all
mean?
we
And, like,
all
yeah.
drove drunk so bad.
It's
It got to
true.
the point in Arizona where like everybody they just really they realized how much of a revenue stream it was.
To
And they
give
just-
people tickets and
yeah,
shit.
the
Yeah.
DUIs, everyone started getting them like crazy. But before that, man, everybody drove drunk. Everybody.
Yeah, and now with like Uber, there's no excuse.
And because back in Tucson, it was like one cab company before Uber, you know, and it was hard to get a cab.
Yeah.
So you would just drive drunk. I drove blacked out plenty of times way back in the day. Terrifying.
Autopilot. You just wake up at your
Wake up, it's like,
destination.
oh man, I guess I got to go get my car. And I'd walk out, my car would be perfectly parked in the spot. I was like, shit. Oh man, yeah, I started playing in bands in high school too. So that was like I was solely focused
Same.
on that. Like, yeah, I was like, I didn't care. Like, and I was I'm like a B, C student, you know. And so it was like school was fine, but I was like, all I care about was being in a band.
Yeah.
I tried doing that.
Being in a band.
Yeah, I tried playing the bass, and you guys just heard me playing it. So you know.
I played
Bad that
guitar in a
was.
band, but we were fine, but it was more like we were friends and we wanted this thing to do as friends, and we did like the high school battle of the bands and stuff like that.
Totally.
I just
That shit
wanted
was
an
hilarious.
excuse to drink and do drugs.
Yeah. Okay.
And like
Talk to
just-
women or
yeah.
girls at the time.
I mean, yeah, sure.
At the time they were women, but now they're girls.
Girls.
I never even really like played or anything. I just wanted to live the fun lifestyle.
Yeah.
It was
Playing-
like I should have just been like a bookie or something.
Playing shows like that leveled up the playing field as far as getting women.
Yeah, just
Oh,
That
meeting
was like a
people.
whole
Absolutely,
nother
yeah.
like it was like a totally different league.
Yeah.
Is that your Uber?
No, I got a bunch of texts from moveon.org. Thanks. tis the season. Tis the season. I get
That's
it.
true.
Anything
Yeah.
good?
No.
It's never anything good.
It's never anything good. But it's like
Yeah.
when you get
It's always like, we need your money or we're all gonna burn.
when you get like 4 or 5 texts in a row, you're like, oh man, then maybe this is important.
Yeah.
And then I look
Right.
at it,
Never
no,
is.
it's not important
Yeah.
in the slightest.
Even when my wife texts me like 4 or 5 times, it's like, dude, you can wait.
If it's an emergency,
Oh
she'll
my
call.
goodness.
I know, like, I spent the night one night in jail. She didn't pick up her phone. She was my one phone call, and she didn't pick
That's
up.
so
Damn. What was her
Yeah.
excuse?
She just sleeps through anything. It's not even, it's not even like I'm the one who's asked her over the years to put her phone on silent. in the
And
middle
what
of
was
the
your
night.
excuse for the jail thing?
Oh, I was driving her car, which had a headlight out. And they pulled me over, and I had a
Warrant?
bench warrant for $25.
One of those.
unpaid. Yeah. I've been arrested a few times now off of bench warrants. And
No fun. No fun.
it was off of a $25 fucking,
Unpaid ticket?
for drinking on the subway.
I have a
2 in the
bunch.
morning after Bushwick Bears.
I don't
was
think
at
I'd-
Lot
That's-
45.
oh. I feel so bad. I feel almost
Yeah.
responsible.
Yeah.
I doubt I have any warrants, but I had a bunch of unpaid tickets by Rutgers Police Department
Oh,
in New
college?
Brunswick. But they have their own school police department. It's a
You went
big
to
school.
Rutgers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I have no idea to this day, because what they're supposed to do is withhold your diploma from being able to graduate.
Yeah.
But this is after I graduated. I would go there and get tickets, and then afterwards, I was like, "Oh wait, why am I gonna pay these? All they have the authority to do is withhold me graduating, but I graduated already."
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
Unless they have Imagine one day, like in 10 years or something, I'm driving. I'm driving
comes
through.
knocking on your door.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
I think we're going. I should actually put the timer on though.
It's like you all of a sudden someone comes knocking on your door.
Cool.
Oh yeah,
Like, excuse me, Mr. Hyken.
You're going to jail.
What about like, dude? I just got because my car isn't Speaking of fucking tickets, it's like bit me in the ass. I got. I didn't realize in New York there are red light and speeding cameras still around.
Really?
Yeah,
In New York
yeah.
City?
In Brooklyn, there
yeah.
are.
I think I might have got one.
And so I have my car, but I haven't registered it in my name yet.
yeah.
So I saw the light go off and I was like, fuck it. The guy who sold it to me is gonna have to deal with it. Well, the guy who sold it to me is my brother-in-law. So my brother-in-law hit me up and was like, "Yo, bro," and he had 3 picture tickets. 2
Yeah.
for speeding and 1 for a red light. So I had to send him $200 fucking dollars.
That fucking sucks.
I was literally just gonna be like, I'm not gonna fucking pay this shit.
Yeah. Because you don't get points for those either. There has to be a cop present.
Yeah.
A bunch of them got shut down. They
There's still one
Didn't
in
they get
Bedford,
sued?
Atlantic. I think they got
It's a
sued.
private company that has a contract for it, and they. I remember at some point we're getting sued because they started reducing the time between a yellow light and a red light,
Yeah.
and it literally just became this like automated revenue generating thing that really had nothing to do with safety, especially when you're compromising the time between the lights.
Those motherfuckers.
I temped at an office that had the headquarters for the New York Police Departments, like that for that center, for all the cameras and all the drones. 'Cause they have drones too
Yeah.
in the city, and it's at the top of a building in a very famous area or whatever. And I would have to walk in there sometimes to like give information or whatever to somebody in there, and there'd be some jacked up former Marine that comes walking up to you. He's like, "What are you doing here? Do you have clearance? Where are you supposed to be doing blah 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 blah?" And it's like you can see my fucking badge or whatever, but it's like he doesn't want me seeing all the information they're collecting on fucking citizens
Right.
and whatnot. Because the one I think I might have gotten within the last couple weeks, it was doing what I would call New York driving, in that it was a fucking red light that I was getting pushed up into the middle.
Yeah.
And it was either go or potentially
Or block the
traffic.
thing. Yeah, you go.
I got by. No, the other light hadn't even turned or whatever, but my light had turned, and it's like, come on, man. You know what I mean? It's just one of those ones where it's like, if it's like a baseball umpire.
That was an
calls it,
automated one?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it's like if there was a person there, he'd be like,
He'd understand the context.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the. Yeah, it wasn't even that bad.
Did you try to fight it or anything like
I haven't
that?
even gotten it yet. I just saw
Oh.
a flashing light.
There-
and I'm like,
there-
fuck.
You should fight it.
I think if you fight it, they almost always give it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
You
'Cause I
guys-
don't feel like
it's-
fucking paying
It's so
for it
fucking
anymore.
man, because it makes me think of college again. Like I always say college because I was hanging out and I near a university. All my friends were there. I didn't go. Full disclaimer: I didn't fucking go.
You didn't go.
No, I went to 2 semesters of public university. I went to 2 semesters of junior college, community college, and I called it quits. But I was still hanging out and just partying with all
You
the
had
college guys.
fantastic college years.
Yeah, the college years were awesome. So I was in a band, and man, they leveled up that partying. Partying from
Yeah.
high school to college leveled up so hard because
That should be your album title,
What?
Jericho Davis and the College Years.
the college years would basically be 1998 to 2018.
Oh, you didn't go to medical school specifically.
No. Oh man, but all those parking tickets, I never paid them, and I was always nervous because what they do is they will boot you eventually.
Yeah.
But then I got a place that had off the street parking,
Dude,
so I was like, I ain't never paying them shits again.
Hell yeah.
I shit you not. My buddy who I lived in college with our junior year, I believe, or senior year, he got so many tickets that they put the boot on his car, and he had like already kind of like some anger stuff. He got so fucking pissed. I shit you not. He kicked the boot until it came off his fucking car. I have no idea. Maybe they didn't do a proper job locking it.
It might have
He
fucked his
drove
car up a
around.
little bit, yeah.
He drove around for probably, I don't know, the next 6 months to a year with this boot in his trunk. And I think he ended up getting caught because he got another like red light ticket or somethething like that, an automated one, but it
Right.
raised the flag in their system because his car is supposed to have a boot on it. How
Yeah,
is he
right.
running a light?
Right.
And
yeah,
he
yeah,
ended
yeah.
up like getting either a ticket in addition to that or like So that's how.
Crazy.
Eventually, that's how he got caught. Like a
Eventually
year.
They fucking catch up with you in some way.
They
Yeah.
will, yeah.
And
you-
it's like, I mean,
Or they don't, but like it, chances are it'll flag something in a system that
Here's the thing: is
contradicts.
eventually, like, I mean, all these traffic cops now, like, they're out in force in my neighborhood. They're really trying to crack down on and we have like a whole different pattern of moving around that we have to do, and fucking, but someday that job's gonna be done by a drone.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Straight up, like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just be feeding constant information, and we're gonna live in this fucking panopticon.
But
fucking
also, you won't be driving.
what do you mean?
The car's gonna be driving itself,
It's true.
and there's nobody to give. There's nobody to give tickets to.
I bet we'll get the surveillance before we get the self-driving cars.
I think both are coming. Well, surveillance
Well,
is
the
already
surveillance
here in
is
a lot of
already here.
ways, so that's
Exactly.
true.
See?
Well,
But
when that-
self-driving cars are close.
Boom! Points. Anyways, so this goes back to us being in college.
yeah, did you go to college?
I did, briefly and not traditionally. Insofar as like
He was home
graduated-
colleged.
right. I graduated 10th in my class from the bottom.
How big of a
That's from the
class?
bottom.
It was like 300.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm actually really modest. It was a class of 10, so I was actually at the top, but I was 10th from the bottom.
Yeah. But I graduated in the top 10 percentile of standardized testing. And so my dad
Yeah, I
worked
feel that.
at a college, and he had me, I got in through like on a conditional sort of thing, and I had to take what he called university classes at Bowling Green State University. And it was like if I could do well in these classes, they would let me stay and move on or whatever.
Word.
And I remember I had to take a test for one of these classes. It was like some weird kind of standardized test. They just wanted, like, you're in this university class, right? Like, you're a dumb person. So we're going to find out exactly how dumb you are. It was just some other standardized test, and I got like 100 on it. And so then they called my dad, and we're like, this is the only proud moment my parents ever have of me in school, is like I got 100 on a test, and a college called my dad about it to be like, why is your son in this class, sort of thing. And after that, I quit.
You're just sort of like,
Basically,
I got the
was like,
validation I needed. I don't
Yeah.
need you motherfuckers. You said
Yeah.
I'm smart. What do I need you for?
Exactly, and I basically almost like really did. I just because the college I went to was like right outside my hometown, and I went to 3 different high schools, and all 3 of those high schools fed kids I knew into this fucking school. So it was like going to high school again, and I'm like, I'm
Right,
not gonna
yeah.
take another stab at this gay ass thing called education. This educational system with these people around, I just want a different experience. So I quit there. I took a couple semesters off to do drugs, and then I went back to community college at night, and I was getting straight A's, but I was like, where does this end up with me being at? A fucking welder, a draftsman, hopefully like a house, 2.3 kids. And I was like, I was reading a lot then. I was like, I can get the fuck out. That's why I joined the Navy. Because like I hated all of that sort of thing. This is the We Got Too High episode.
That was pretty good.
we were listening.
I think we were riffing
listening.
pretty good.
Derek's he was telling us his college story, and I want to know. I never heard it.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's college, and it was like, I don't know. It's kind of funny to like everybody else always has like, you went to Rutgers,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And everybody has like, oh, I went to college and I lived in the dorms and I did whatever, and I'm like, that sounds like camp, school camp. It just sounds. It's just.
It was
not-
a party
camp
for
for 4
4
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just didn't seem like it was like really doing anything different. And not that the military exclusively was, but it was like, I really wanted to go to Chicago to be in Second City, but I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Nobody I know did anything artistic. They all went to work, college, jail. One of the 3.
Right. I think the main thing it did for me was just socialization, like just being around people. Like I wasn't good at school, and I didn't like
I
do.
partied at
Yeah,
college.
exactly. I partied.
Oh,
I didn't I wasn't that studious, and I didn't care that much about what I was studying for the most part, aside from a few classes. But I became less of a dipshit around people,
I remember one of my favorite memories from college was in 2001. when U of A lost in the Final Four.
That's football.
Basketball.
Basketball.
And
Got
there
it.
were fucking crazy riots, right? But we're like watching the
What year is this?
2001.
Okay.
There were riots in '97 too. Don't worry.
So this isn't like the
No, 96.
James Harden years.
No. That was Arizona State. He went to Arizona State.
Oh, I thought you went to UA.
No, this was like I think Iguodala was on that team and Richard
okay,
Jefferson.
cool.
Like it was that era. But in '97 there were riots because U of A won the national championship. That was fun. But
Those were good riots.
Those were good riots.
Yeah.
The riots in 2001 were also good, but we were watching the game and we thought it'd be really fun to take a bunch of mushrooms before the game, right? So we're sitting at my friend's house, we're just hanging out. But my friend's house is like literally walking distance from the McHale Center and like walking distance to like where the party zones are. And we decided to take mushrooms, and all of a sudden you hear news, everything's on fire, things are going crazy. The cops are shooting people in the streets, and we're like, well, we need to be there.
Yeah.
So we're like, we were young and stupid, and so all of a sudden we go out and we start running down towards it, and I just remember like a slew of motorcycle cops that just seemed like it went on forever, and it's just I'm tripping on mushrooms, right? I turn the corner, and there's riot cops, like, and they're like, disperse, and they start shooting us with the beanbag bullets, and so we all duck, and the guy right next to me gets hit, but I don't, and he gets hit in the back of his leg, and just a big open wound. He's bleeding everywhere.
Yeah, those things fucking hurt.
Yeah, we're crawling under cars and stuff, and we all get broken up. I finally meet one of my friends, and it's such a stupid like mushroom story where we met this hippie girl, and she told us where to go.
Yeah.
And we ended up meeting up with our friends in some random backyard.
Days.
Cars got flipped over.
Well, the other thing too is like, cause I was so young, so I worked at like restaurants and stuff, and college kids worked at the same restaurant. And
Yeah.
they'd be like, "Do you want to come to this party?" And so I was like, especially because I had
That happened to me when I was 30.
I had a car when I was like 16. Yeah, it happened to me too late too. But
That happened to me when I was in college, and only when I was in college.
Good for you.
Nobody wanted me there early. Nobody wanted me there after.
Nah, and these guys were like musicians and stuff, so we would go. They would get us into the bars and clubs and everything. So I go like watch bands and hang out, and then go back to their place and like party and like with like college kids.
Yeah.
As like a high schooler. In fact, one time there's this one woman who was into me at this party. She was clearly an adult at the college or whatever, and I'm a junior in high school, I think, and maybe a senior. And I'm at this party. It's like a Tuesday night. It's 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning. It's a school night. And we all knew this because my friend Elizabeth was like getting upset that I didn't want to leave. So I'm trying to score with this girl. And she comes walking in the living room. She's like, "Derek, we have to go. We have class in the morning and our moms are going to be upset." Yeah,
She threw out that cock block.
I know. I was like, well, I guess my night's over. You know?
My ride's here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, by the way, I'm 17.
The one memory I have was in high school. We went to our weed dealer was this dude that lived in New Brunswick, or really my dealer's dealer. And I think that's why we were there. And then we went to Grease Trucks, which if you guys haven't been around Rutgers, I don't know if it still exists. It's like,
Never been around Rutgers.
it's like a Rutgers thing, but like people know it. It's like these dope ass fat sandwiches that just have like, everything in them, like mozzarella
Nice.
sticks
Oh, yeah.
and chicken fingers and eggs and
The perfect
French
restaurant.
fries and yeah.
Yeah.
And every restaurant in New Brunswick, or like restaurant like deli, whatever, they all make them because everybody wants them because everybody gets drunk. So like eventually, literally, like every random place that serves food also serves grease truck sandwiches.
Grease truck sandwiches. Rutgers
They're good.
University.
Well, so we were there and oh, I think we tried to buy weed off of these dudes. Wait, what? Did I miss something? Am I that high, just zoning out? I think maybe we bought weed off of them at the grease trucks. But anyway, it was like 5 college dudes that invited. I think maybe we had a girl with us, but it was mostly dudes. And we like smoked weed and listened to Led Zeppelin at the Rutgers house. And then we went home and we were like, that was the coolest thing ever.
Those guys were so cool.
Yeah, basically.
Oh man, and I had friends who went to college, so we would just go to like when I was even just working at like 19, 20. I was like a welder or whatever, welder's assistant. And I have friends who went to school in Pittsburgh, so I go to Pittsburgh for the weekend. And they'd be like, he went to art school too. So they'd be like, what are you here for? I was like, welding. Because that's a fucking art.
Yeah, right.
Oh, awesome. Can I see some of your work sometime? I was like, have you ever looked at a Buick? You've seen it then.
Just to set the record straight, I am not high. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm just joking. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm actually not. I'm just
it's true. Jericho didn't hit the bong.
I did not.
No hits from the bong for Jericho.
Man, I think because I never really smoked weed, it's never really been my thing necessarily. But I remember, I think why. It's because the first 420 in that college house, everyone went just so hard that I smoked so much weed I puked.
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, I was
wow.
18 years old.
Yeah, no, I've been there. It didn't stop me or nothing. But
I'm just like, this is...
I puked, when I was a baby after meals. I kept eating.
That's true. It's a very good point. No, I'm thinking about like the violent reactions I've had to smoking marijuana where like, I mean, one time I was it was like me and a couple buddies and these two girls, and I embarrassed myself so much because I couldn't stop laughing. Like we were smoking weed or whatever, and for whatever fucking, it was so corny. It had like a skull
Yeah.
bowl, and like I actively tried to stop laughing. I couldn't fucking do it. And I'm like, this sucks. And then like maybe 10 minutes later, I was like, all right, this feels great.
I remember this is like early in high school. One of my buddies got some weed, and he's like, come over. My parents are out of town, and we just were just smoke. And I remember we smoked a whole ounce of weed basically from start to finish, and out of a little bong with no water. We were too lazy to go get water. And
Oh my
Crazy.
God.
And also that you said you were in high school.
yeah.
And also totally something you do in high school.
Yeah.
Like, there's no need for the two of you to sit there and try to power smoke. But I've done
No.
that too, yeah.
It's just like, I knew a guy, there was a guy in high school that I'll always remember. Like, there's so many things about high school and college that are like so stereotypical and like a version of it in every high school or college movie that happened
Yep.
Yeah.
to all of us, I think. But there was a guy in high school that his only goal in life was to be the first person to overdose on weed. That's what he wanted to do. That
Yeah.
was his whole
Did
thing.
you? Oh,
He was
sorry.
just like it was like the same burnout from every stoner movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think he was sincere? He was kind of just trying to make a joke about the fact that no one's ever overdosed on weed.
He might have been making a joke, but he was
It's
one of those
both.
dudes that
He like made it his
constantly smoked.
character to be
It's
like,
both. Hell yeah. It's whatever the fucking joke calls for, bro.
He looked like
Come on, that's how chill he is. I just
chill the both of you are.
Here's the thing I never really talk about me smoking pot is because one, I don't advocate for it for other people. It's your fucking decision. Two, I'm not always happy that I smoke it all the time. Three, I hate stoner culture.
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
out of it dipshits.
As
I
an
hate people who-
identity. Nothing
an
like that's
As an
good. Yeah.
identity, it's annoying.
Because inherently, I mean, I recognize its effects on me and how it's probably chilled me out over the years and whatnot, and so it's a net positive. I listen to too much Tool. I get it, but
It's a gateway drug to Tool.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but like outside of that, it's not like I'm like I don't have a Bob Marley.
Yeah, you can't tell me you actually like Pepper, the band. You know?
Oh.
Or you can't actually tell me that Sublime is good. I can't do that with you.
No,
I
I
40 ounce of freedom when you're baked.
I overdid it in high school and college, I'll say that. But they're still pretty good. Every once in a while I'll rock. I think I listened or like was jamming on guitar to KRS-One. song by
Nobody likes reggae that much.
Reggae's pretty fun.
I mean,
Okay, yeah, pretty
I
fun.
think Jamaicans do.
I will stand up for reggae. I will stand up for disco. I will stand up for disco.
Would you stand up for 311?
Yeah.
You tread lightly, my friend.
I think
I used to love 311 when I was in high school.
yeah. They're
I
fun.
had a CD.
Yeah, no.
I just
had, like,
overdid
all
it.
the
I
CDs.
listened to it too much, and now like once in a while it pops up, and I'll sing along. It's on
Well,
the
how about
radio.
the-
I hear it in the
How about
background
this?
somewhere.
You can't tell me Fish is good.
I don't enjoy Fish.
I don't buy it.
I
I don't buy it.
like. I
Fish Live is
respect.
fun.
I haven't seen him live. I respect the like musicality, because especially when I was playing guitar a lot, like what's his name, Trey Anastasio. Yeah, he's good. He's got some really interesting guitar work, and like there's some stuff I like, but yeah, I can't get too into him.
I think like weed should be legal, or else like Dave Matthews couldn't possibly have a career. 'Cause, like,
there's a whole sect of bands that are like that. That if there wasn't for weed, they wouldn't have had a career. They're called jam bands.
I'd have to hear like satellite come back around. I'd have to hear that like high or whatever.
That one I'm not a huge fan of. Dave Matthews Band, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not
like,
a huge-
that's the
Get
only
the
way you
fuck
can
out
make
of
that kind
town.
of music powerful.
I don't even like it high though.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't know.
That one I
guess
never
that's a
got
bad
too
analogy.
into.
weed culture is like so annoying. I like, dude, it's like everyone nowadays, because there's been so much science put into weed over the last 10 years.
Sort of.
Everyone's well, I mean, within the cultivation of it.
It's been a lot.
Absolutely.
That's what I
Sure.
mean
Yeah,
by
yeah,
science.
yeah.
The actual science of like.
There's been a lot of agriculture.
Yeah,
I was on a weed farm a week ago.
yeah.
And I was blown away by both. Just this farmer literally was telling me about it, and it's just wild. It's such a mix of like science and like nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But every layman on the street has become a sommelier of weed.
Yeah. No, I am not.
Everyone's
I'm not a
like,
sommelier
"Ugh."
of anything, to be honest.
I know, right? You're just like, ugh. Back in the day, remember when 20 years ago when we were kids and it was like Mexican brickweed and that was
Yeah.
about the best you could get, you know?
I know
Yeah.
good weed, and I know shitty weed, and that's really about it. Like I smoke pretty good amount, but I couldn't tell you the like
Well, like,
strains.
And the whole thing, like you know, when you like, oh, this is a blend of this and this. It's got this percentage of this. It gives you this feeling. Like, yeah, that's just a dude in a room, a couple of dudes in a room smoking, being
Right,
like, oh,
yeah,
this
yeah,
is what
yeah.
it is.
yeah.
There's no like real across the board spectrum for measuring like exactly.
Well, just half the time your dealer made it up, or your dealer's dealer made it up.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I don't know. I just don't like being around like potheads and shit, and like I get mad at myself if I feel like I smoke too much of it.
You know
So
what?
it makes it less interesting.
I think that's fair. I don't like anybody that defines a personality by like the one thing that they are.
Right.
It's annoying. Like you get around
Right.
someone who talks about politics too much. It's annoying. You get around someone who talks about football too much. It's annoying.
Right, yeah.
You
Yep.
know,
Totally.
hanging out with comedians used to be fun.
I'm actually having more fun hanging out with comics now, because like the hours are earlier.
Oh,
and
just so you can get a nap in.
No. So much like some of these shows start at like there's only one, and it starts at 8 o'clock, so it's over by 10.
Well, yeah, there's not 4 shows in a night.
Right. Yeah, and there's also like less competition really by availability, and so you're kind of like you know, it takes the edge off a little bit, and you can just like enjoy hanging out with people for people,
Yeah.
rather than like industry shit or whatever the case may be.
That might be nice.
I'm enjoying it more. It's because sometimes you get somebody comes up to you at like a hangout or whatever, and like you can sometimes tell when somebody just like feels like they want something from you, sort of thing. And I always try to avoid that at all costs, anyways. But I feel like there's none of that really going on right now. So it's way easier to just be a normal person.
Dang, that takes my whole thing. I just thought everyone wanted to sleep with me.
Well, in your case,
They
that
were
might
coming
be
there just
true.
like they
You
just wanted
both
to
might
ride
be
the
right.
Jericoaster, you know.
Well, we can edit that out.
Why would we edit that out? We're not ever editing anything out, Derek.
I'm not saying it to be mean.
This is real talk. We're just in it.
We started this at see how it's at 44.
Yeah,
44.
That was after we had already started it, right?
I think
Like
Speaking
You
of
put
which,
you put the timer on after we had already started the episode.
yeah, but it's already 20
No,
minutes.
Oh,
time.
is it
The
20?
timer's how long it's been
It's
recording.
only been 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not having fun
Oh,
talking
no,
to
no,
us.
no.
I thought you just were saying you were
well,
having fun, Derek.
because I was confused by that.
You're one.
He thought he was having fun when he thought this had been 10 minutes.
right?
But now that he realizes it's been 44.
All right, you guys convinced me to quit smoking weed.
You guys, this has been fun. Thank you for sharing with your high
I think we
school
went on
and
a journey.
college stories with us.
We didn't even talk about what we set out to talk about.
No, but that's all right. We'll do
What
another
did
time.
we set out to talk about?
We'll talk about it later.
So we ended up talking
the
about
next,
high
we'll just
school
say
stories.
Next one, we'll talk about.
We set out
Best
to talk about something?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
But
It's
our
all right.
best concerts that we've ever been to.
Oh,
Yeah.
do we even attempt?
We didn't even attempt. We started talking about high school, and I kind of just ran with it. Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay.
High school was hilarious and weird, and college was more hilarious and more weird.
Yeah, I appreciate all my friends going to college, so I also got to know what it was like.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause
Yeah.
I didn't go to college, but all my friends lived in a house that was right next to a college.
Yeah.
We went streaking and stuff. It was fun.
One of my friends, we would sit there and we would watch TV like late fucking at night. We were college age, even though I was working, but he was like out of college, and we would watch like National Geographic on TV and like comedy stuff. And I'm like, I want to be a comedian or whatever. And then, after some time, it ends up happening. He wanted to work for National Geographic, and he worked for National Geographic.
I thought you were going to say
Oh,
he
okay.
wanted to be a tiger.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
He went trans tiger. Yeah, I know. It's kind of
That's cool. He
I
works
know. So it's like, college works out for some people.
That's true.
You know
Right.
what I mean?
I mean, it works out for a decent amount of people. Just depends on what you study, I guess.
that's
and
why everybody should get to go for free forever.
See, I think for that
I'm just
very
kidding.
same.
I'm
That's, that's very not right wing of you. You need to better calm down.
I think
Take that back, Derek.
well, here's the thing: is the level of education you get from a basic college degree, at least through the first couple of years, is what you used to get by the time you graduated high school.
Yeah, everything's
Way
changed.
back in exactly, but things can change for the better if we really actually try to reestablish that level of.
Well,
We
I
could.
think also this is going to be a right-wing talking point. But
Jesus Christ.
We just
I
need
hope we
we
get
just need
aggregated.
certain degrees more than others, and the less people have to, compromise and choose bullshit that we don't need, the more we're just going to create a shitty economy of people that have an education in something that society just doesn't need at that rate. You need to have something where people are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool if you want to get a degree in we'll say ballet or something like that. You know what I mean?
You do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, but you shouldn't expect a job out of it.
And if you, well, it's true, it's going to be harder for sure, but not even ballet, but like social sciences and shit like that. Like, we only need so many, whatever it is. And how do you know how much that is? Like, you don't. So the way you do it is you have some sort of responsibility so that you can have an incentive to do it or to not do it based on the economics of the job. Sorry. Too much.
Oh man,
Too
Boris. Oh.
Well, on that note,
I had to do it.
it.
I saw it was a mistake, but
Instead of watching the debates last night, I don't know when this is gonna come out. Doesn't matter. There
I'm
were
going to
debates
cut that
last night.
out.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Yeah, probably.
Well then, fuck. We don't need to say anything.
It's too
Boris.
much,
No, we're gonna leave it. That's,
No, I mean, I get,
Boris
I get
is
what you're
allowed
saying
to his
about-
opinions.
I get, what
I
you're saying
get
about the market correction sort of attitude of if I want to be a drama major
right?
or whatever, and okay, we'll say anthropology. I want to get an anthropology degree. Why? Because I want to be an anthropologist.
Yeah.
You really find out most anthropologists end up as anthropologists through other means, and it's usually more hands-on than necessarily just go into and then getting a job right out of whatever.
Right.
But it's I think that they should have the right to compete for those jobs. There should be some responsibility in taking on you have to account for it in some matter.
Yeah.
But college costing so much and having all these different little like the fucking standardized testing shit where Aunt Becky can hire a tutor and
Yeah.
falsify records and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
no, that's bullshit. But
Like,
they're
there's a lot
also
of games in
gonna.
the system. They're trying to fix it. I get it, but it's like we could just have like probably a more efficient system.
Oh, we could 100%. I'm not saying things are good the way that they are. I'm just saying the way to fix them, I don't think is making it. The best idea I've heard that is practical, and there's a name for it, but I forget it. And it's where there's deals where basically you go to school for free, and the lender who pays for it basically takes a certain percentage of what your income is going to be. And so if you don't make any income with it, you don't owe any money, basically. But and so the only way that somebody, because right now somebody's giving like an 18-year-old a fucking $100,000 loan. That's how schools became that expensive. School wasn't that expensive before we guaranteed that shit with money from the government. But now that you have that inflating it, the prices like went up like crazy.
Sure.
And so this way, whoever's lending you is not just going to give you $100,000. Here, you're 18, take this shit and study anthropology. We need like 5 anthropologists next year. I just gave this loan to 500 people.
Honestly, college inherently nowadays sounds like just a huge scam.
It might be.
Yeah, like
or at least in
there's
part.
An article in I think like the New York Times or something like that where it was somebody who was an economist from overseas studied the American high school and educational system from like an objective perspective and
right.
whatnot, and the results came back basically as like how a third world country does it, and it's like we should. I mean, there's got to be some level of like there's got to be some route we can take to minimize that.
Wait, what's how a third world country does it?
Just the way the inflated prices, the buying into certain levels of class and privilege and expediency. There is there is no there's no royalty in America, right? But you buy royalty.
There's an
nowadays.
academic elite.
No. What I'm saying is like our royalty in America is celebrity culture, right? And everything is propagated off of money. So money and influence is what makes you royalty here. There is no fair kind of thing when you start to reach like a certain level of economics, and college has been like manipulated and forced by, enforced into a certain operating manner that's just like as a business, which it should be, but also to the point where it's like it makes obscene amounts of money.
Right.
I guess I should have gotten stoned so I can understand what the fuck you two are talking about.
No, this is like as simple as it is.
We're gonna cut this out.
I'm so lost. Oh my god.
Yo, just look, right? We need for real. We need mad nurses, right? Like we need nurses. We need a lot of fucking nurses in this country.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the most useful, the most important profession, basically. And if we like, you have a guaranteed loan if you get a nursing degree. It's free to go do it. It's going to take, let's say you make $100,000 as a nurse. They're going to take whatever, 2% of that for however long until you repay your loan. If that's the case, if we really need them and that money's guaranteed, people are going to be lending that money left and right. There's no need.
But who pays back the lender if there's
nothing. But that's the whole point, is that if they believe that there's a risk that you're not going to get his job as a nurse, they're not going to lend you the money. The whole point. I
would never lend anybody any sort of, because what happens if they die? And it's like, well,
that's all. But that's how any loan works.
But there's no like, sure. But part of the reason why it's so expensive is because they can like either write it off as a loss. There has to be some incentive at some level for a business other than
so
I'm going to gamble I'm going to gamble on whether or not you as a person is going to come through and like
under this new.
That's literally how it works.
Under the system that you're proposing, no one would pay for me to go to clown college, is what you're saying.
They might not. That's exactly what I'm saying.
You might find somebody who would.
You got to find your own way to clown college.
You got to find my own way to clown college.
Yeah, you're going to. Only people with rich dads get to go to clown college.
The reason they give you a mortgage,
I know Steve-O.
Conditional on whether or not you die, is because if you do die, you don't have the money to cover it at the time of your death, either you or your family. They'll just take the house.
Right. Well,
there's some level of collateral against. There's no collateral.
There's no collateral. But here's what it is. Every loan involves a certain amount of risk. That risk is worth a certain amount of money. You build that money into the interest of the loan. That's it. So everywhere there's an equation that makes it worth it for them. At a certain point, you just add
enough. You're
enough.
Get the interest back on however much you lend.
Well, it's two things. Let's say I interview as a person, and I say this person seems like a good fit as a nurse. He seems sincere about wanting to be a nurse. Our like calculations. The math tells us we're going to need this many nurses next year. This is how many people are enrolled. This is how many people have these loans out. Shit all gets calculated and built into the price of your loan.
Yeah, it's just gamble. It's just a huge gamble.
The entire economy is a gamble.
That's true.
I mean, sure.
Literally,
theory, but like,
no. In the
practicality-
same way that you're describing, literally anything you invest money
It
in.
just seems like it's premised too much upon
Math.
No, not even math. No, yeah, sure, math, but also hope. It's
So
just
you're-
like people don't really buy into that level of all.
So you're saying ending privatized student loans?
No, not at all. The privatized student loans are the solution. I'm saying ending government subsidy of those loans, because that is the thing that basically says you're going to get your loan paid no matter what. This kid's going to be fucked for life. You can't default. It's the only loan you can't default on, and it's specifically because the banks are taking advantage. If they're going to take a risk on you, the banks otherwise know themselves they wouldn't be giving these loans.
Yeah.
When you ask for a loan to study like whatever, I studied sociology, and that's one of those things. It's like nobody should be giving you money. I went to a state school, and it didn't cost a lot, and I had a small loan basically. But like they would have been like, oh, we shouldn't be giving you even $40,000 or whatever to go study sociology. We know you're not going to afford to pay us back later, but the reason we're willing to do it is because the government says that the taxpayers are going to cover it if you can't pay it back. So they put you into debt. You can't cancel on that debt because it's guaranteed by the government, and it's the only debt that's not forgivable. And they get to keep raising prices because the university is like, oh shit, we're going to get before we needed like 10 people in the sociology class. Now we can get 100 in there. We don't give a shit if they get jobs later or not. It's not on us. They drive the price up. They're like, if we put the cost up, they're just going to get a guaranteed loan because the government guaranteed it. They're still going to get a loan. We can keep, and that's just how the prices got so fucking expensive.
Is this an actual idea somebody's actually put to the test, or is this your idea?
No. There are, I believe, there's a name for it. I can't remember it. The solution is they have implemented, I believe, but it's not like a widespread thing, obviously.
It's just like
I
when
think
you
it's
start
mostly
talking about market-based education.
It's coding school. There's like multiple coding schools, I believe, that do it that way. Because there's a huge demand for coders.
Sure. But I would wonder at what point that market can be manipulated in order to have people pass through or whatever to like influence your sector or over another or whatever. Like,
what do you mean?
Insofar as like, okay, so I'm an energy tycoon or whatever, and I want more opportunity to do that kind of work, and my only work is through expansion. How can I create a labor force, or to find the means necessary, that sort of thing, like that sort of market manipulation to dictate where the labor market goes to.
Well, if you need those people, then that's how you dictate it.
But it might not always necessarily be for something that's positive.
I watched Red Dawn yesterday, and I just am saying, I think the Russians and the Cubans are going to attack the United States, so school's going to be irrelevant. You guys better start doing your push-ups and running laps and get a gun and a
learn
water
to
filter.
speak Russian or
Right?
Spanish. I got that covered, so I don't got to worry about it.
All right. This episode is now called.
Are we going to cut that whole part out?
We're cutting
No.
the last 15 minutes.
All right, well, you guys do
Maybe
what you want.
not. We'll see.
You guys do
We'll
what you
listen
want.
back, see how
Listen back.
comfortable
I
we
don't
are
know.
about it.
Let's say I don't know. I don't like to speak on shit I don't know about. So,
Um,
all right, we're the Bushwick Bears. Thank you guys. Subscribe, like, you know how it is.